You were at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's from Mr. Bones, who says, rant about beefing or creators having arguments amongst each other. I'd like you to focus on how it can be mutually helpful, as you've mentioned previously. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is people love drama. People love when one famous... I shouldn't even say drama. People love crossovers. People love when one thing they like makes reference to another thing they like, when those things collide, when, you know, it's like when you're watching one show and you love that show, and then another show you love that show, and then the characters meet in the middle, and it's like, wow, what would happen if all the rules of this universe had to interact with the rules of this universe, if the characters here, their personalities had to try to mesh with the characters in this other universe, right? So crossovers are always hugely popular. As long as the two source materials are both popular as well. So when it comes to internet creation, there's crossovers you can do with other YouTubers and stuff, right? But for the most part, while those crossovers do tend to draw a lot of attention and be fairly popular, there's not a lot you can really do with the crossover of two YouTubers. It's like, let's say that you both make analysis videos. Well, what are you going to do? Show up in each other's videos? Like, you could co-write the analysis, but it always comes off as cheesy and weird. Too often the bleed through of the different styles just doesn't work that well. So how can you collaborate, or how can you, make reference to each other in a more interesting fashion? I think drama is the more interesting fashion. It's talking about each other in a way that, rather than just being crossover, or even it could lead to crossover, but like hearing people mention each other and discuss each other gives that similar kind of feeling of like, wow, I didn't know that the guy who I watch is also watching the other guy who I watch, and he's mad about him, or, oh, I hate that other content creator and this guy is talking shit about him. That's so cool. I'm glad that we both understand that this guy sucks, especially because, not a lot of people have the balls to actually come at other creators, because they want to preserve opportunities with those creators, or just don't want to look like a dick. But the fans are like, I'm waiting for someone to point this out. Someone to notice that this person in your community sucks or is an asshole or something, whatever the accusation might be. So I think of it as a form of, not necessarily collaboration, but a form of crossover. And I think that, you can ham up beefing in a lot of ways. Like, if you were to go to the world of wrestling, right? Wrestling is all fake. It's all staged. But the narrative is that these guys have a problem with each other that has to be resolved through fighting. And, in the context of wrestling, the most excitement you get is when two interesting personalities are put in conflict with each other. Two guys who have been around, and they're both wrestlers who've had other beefs, other, storylines going on, but then you see a clash of two people who you're like, oh shit, that guy's beefing with him? Oh, that's so cool, So then, in the world of rap music, you have something similar, where, in a lot of, unfortunately, in the world of rap, a lot of this has led to gang violence and shootings and stuff in the past. Although some of that itself is staged, such as, the death of Tupac and Biggie, which it is commonly speculated was a hit job perpetuated by Suge Knight. But whatever the case, rap beef is entertaining for the same reasons. You listen to one rapper you like, you listen to another rapper you like, they start coming at each other, it makes for interesting drama, interesting tracks, and again, the cross-reference that makes you, really focus. So, like, those are always the biggest stories that are going to come out of the rap community, is going to be the beefs, and, it's a great way to drive traffic to a song. Like, say, for instance, last year's beef of Machine Gun Kelly coming at Eminem. Machine Gun Kelly, not a particularly famous rapper, makes a diss track about Eminem. Not only does that get way more attention than his music usually would, but Eminem responded, which, when someone way more famous than you makes a song about you, obviously way more people are now going to know about you. Might not be the most positive context through which they could know about you, but you now have all those eyeballs on you, so your next move can take advantage of that. And that's something that happens a lot in the YouTube sphere is that, like, let's say that someone made a video shitting on me. The fact that my name and face are in the title and somebody's having an opinion on me is going to draw more attention to their video, even if they're not, not nearly as popular as I am, because they're talking about a popular figure. And then if I respond to them, then, not only are people going to be excited for my response because so many people watch the original, but they're going to, anybody who hasn't seen that person's video might go and check it out. Now, granted, it depends on if it was a good video or just a pile of shit. Like, sometimes people make videos about me that suck. I make it clear that the video sucks in my response, not as likely to drive traffic to it, But, like, if it's a beef where both parties are putting forth content that's entertaining, I think it will draw more attention to it. So, like, when I made my video just shit-talking anime YouTubers for, like, an hour, or half an hour, whatever the fuck it was called, it had a lot of positive benefits, because yes, I shit-talked a bunch of people. However, in that video, I also give praise to a bunch of channels that I like. All the channels that I gave praise to gained thousands of subscribers as a result of that video. Like, it was a huge boost to the channels who I actually praised. And then people were also looking into the channels that I had shit on to, figure out if they felt the same way, to form their own opinions about it, to see if what I said was true. And then also the people who were bigger than me who I attacked, some of them made response videos, which drew more attention my way as well. And, it led to, for instance, Mother's Basement does a podcast with me and a bunch of other guys on it that gets, like, 100,000 views and fucking probably made him like $400. Gigak and I get invited to do a weird staged event at Crunchyroll Expo, like, I might not have even gotten invited to Crunchyroll Expo if not for the fact that, I had started this thing and drawn attention to this drama, and then we played it up on stage. But, like, in the process, I got to meet a lot of these very anime YouTubers and kind of, show that there was not animosity in a serious way between us. So, like, in the end, the main people who were upset about it were onlookers, people who were like, this guy's an asshole, I'm a fan of whoever, and I don't like the way you're talking shit about them. But, like, for the other creators, it has no negative effects for them. Like, nobody's going to unsubscribe from a guy because I said that his videos suck. The worst case scenario is people are going to their channel with the expectation that the stuff's gonna suck, but these are people who didn't even know about them before and can be won over, So it's like, I don't think it has any real negatives for anybody except for me, who has the potential to look like a huge asshole for calling these people out, but I also have the gains of, drawing a lot of traffic to that video individually, drawing traffic to the people I talk about, especially the ones who I do want to support, So, like, I wish there was more beefing that was less, like, personal attack kind of shit, Like, most of the stuff that people have come at, like, after me with is come from the position of, like, I don't care if I burn this bridge, It's like people are attacking me in, like, very personal ways or in ways that they're very inflammatory, like, this guy's a piece of shit, I have never come at people like that. Like, when I shit talk other YouTubers, it's because I think their content's not good, which is what a proper, like, rap beef would be like. It's like, your bars are weaker than my bars, and that's a competition that's fun to have and interesting, because it's not insulting you as a person, it's insulting you as an artist, and there's always room to improve as an artist. So the question is, will you react to this by putting out something better? Will you be accused of not being as good and then prove that you are as good or better than I am, And I think that kind of beefing is healthy for the artists as well, because it encourages you to try to, give your all to your product and really show that you're not what that guy said you are, And I think that because we're in this culture right now of people making call-out videos, people always, like, shitting on other people in, like, really harsh and personal ways, it's more difficult for you to do that kind of thing and for it to not be taken that seriously, for the audience to really understand that, Just because I say that somebody's content sucks or I disagree with their opinion on Twitter doesn't mean that I think they're a piece of shit. And, like, there are a lot of people who really will equate those things. I mean, in the Whirling Dervish podcast recently, like, I've called out and shit on, like, Pedantic Romantic, for instance. I'm not saying that Pedantic's a bad person by any means. I think that she's great. And, like, I've, just shit on certain opinions that she's expressed on Twitter. As far as I know, she doesn't think I'm a piece of shit asshole for feeling differently than her about certain things. But I've had other people who are, friends, like who I talked about in episode 5, where it's like, some of my opinions, they've decided, like, oh, you have that opinion, therefore you are an asshole. And it's like, that's when it becomes like a personal call-out thing, as opposed to just like, hey, let's compete with our ideas and let's debate about things that we feel differently about. Like, let's make back and forth conversation as opposed to call-outs. I'd like more of that anyway.